All right, let's dive right in. We're going to unpack some of the biggest, most mind-blowing ideas in modern science. And we're doing it by distilling a fascinating conversation between the biologist Richard Dawkins and the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let's get to it.
So let's kick things off with a pretty huge claim from the late philosopher Daniel Dennett. He said that Darwin's idea of evolution by natural selection was, and I quote, "the greatest idea anybody ever had." Not the best idea in biology, the best idea, period. That's a massive statement, and it perfectly sets the stage for what we're about to dig into.
Dennett actually called his book on the topic Darwin's Dangerous Idea. But dangerous? That's a strong word, right? What could possibly make a scientific idea dangerous? Well, it's dangerous because it has the power to completely change how we see ourselves and our place in the entire universe.
So let's unpack that danger. What was so revolutionary about Darwin's idea? It's that it offered a brand new answer to one of the oldest questions humanity has ever asked. Where does all this incredible, intricate complexity of life actually come from?
This right here is the fundamental shift. Before Darwin, the answer seemed pretty straightforward. You look at something impossibly complex, like a human eye or a giant oak tree, and you just assume it must have had a designer, right? Some kind of divine watchmaker. But then Darwin comes along and flips the whole thing on its head. He revealed that all that complexity can just emerge, all on its own, driven by the basic laws of physics and filtered through this powerful mechanism over eons.
Okay, so what is this all-powerful mechanism? That question brings us to one of Richard Dawkins' most famous and powerful metaphors, one he named a whole book after, the blind watchmaker.
And this gets right to the heart of a huge misunderstanding. A lot of people hear the phrase random mutation and think the whole process of evolution is just a total lottery, just pure chance. So if it's not just random, how in the world does it create something as exquisitely designed as an eye?
You can really see the two big arguments right here, side by side. On the left, you've got the classic argument from the theologian William Paley. He said, look, if you find a watch on the beach, you know it had a watchmaker. Its complexity proves it was designed. But on the right, you have Dawkins's counterpunch. He says, yes, a complex eye implies a watchmaker, but this one is blind. It's a non-deliberate, cumulative process. It has no plan, it can't see the future, it just builds.
The secret sauce here is that it doesn't happen all at once. An eye doesn't just pop into existence. It's built up over millions of years through tiny, gradual improvements. Maybe start with just a flat sheet of cells that can tell light from dark. Hey, that's better than nothing. Then that sheet cups just a tiny bit, which gives you a sense of direction. Even better, then the cup gets deeper, creating a crude pinhole camera. Each little step is a small advantage, built on the one that came before it.
Dawkins has another fantastic metaphor for this, climbing Mount Improbable. So imagine a perfect, complex eye is at the very top of a sheer cliff. It's totally impossible to just leap to the top in one go. And that's the mistake people make. But evolution doesn't take the cliff face. It finds the long, slow, winding path on the other side of the mountain. It allows for a gradual, step-by-step climb all the way to the summit of complexity.
And that brings us to the next massive idea. So far, we've been talking about organisms, animals, trees, you and me. But Dawkins argues that to really understand what's going on, we have to change our perspective completely. We have to zoom in on the fundamental unit that's actually being selected.
And this leads us to a really mind-bending question. I mean, if our bodies are just these incredibly sophisticated survival machines, then who or what is actually in the driver's seat? What is all this for?
The answer is the big idea from his book, The Selfish Gene. It's the idea that the thing evolution is really acting on isn't the species or even the individual organism, it's the gene. You have to think of genes as basically immortal, replicating pieces of digital information. In our bodies, we are just the survival machines they've built to house them and get them copied into the next generation. We are their vehicles.
So a gene isn't just a blueprint for an arm or a leg, it's the fundamental unit of inheritance. It's the little packet of information that is successful at replicating and passing from one body to the next generation after generation.
Now, this is where the idea really explodes beyond just biology. Dawkins coined the term meme to describe a cultural replicator. And yeah, we think of internet cats, but he meant something much bigger. Just like a gene, a meme is a unit of information, an idea, a fashion trend, a catchy tune that spreads from mind to mind. Some ideas are just better at spreading than others. They are, in a sense, successful memes.
Okay, for our final section, let's tackle a really common criticism you hear about science, that by explaining how the world works, it somehow, I don't know, robs it of its magic. Dawkins argues that the exact opposite is true.
This is not a new idea, by the way. This goes way back. The poet John Keats famously complained that Isaac Newton had ruined the poetry of the rainbow. How? By explaining the physics of light. He had unwoven its magic.
But the counterargument, the one Dawkins makes so powerfully, is that a scientific understanding doesn't take away from the beauty, it adds new layers to it. Knowing about wavelengths and refraction doesn't make a rainbow less awesome. It makes you appreciate it on a whole new level. The understanding actually reveals a deeper, more profound poetry.
And let's close out with this one last beautiful concept from Dawkins that ties it all together. He calls it the genetic book of the dead. The idea is that you can look at any animal and read its body like a history book. A lizard's perfect camouflage, for instance, isn't just camouflage. It's a detailed description of the sand and rocks in the desert where all its ancestors managed to survive. Its body is a record of the past. And that goes for us, too. Our bodies, our DNA, every cell inside us, we are walking archives. We carry inside of us a detailed history book of every single environment our ancestors managed to conquer to get us here today. Every part of us is a testament to an unbroken line of survivors.
And that leaves us with one final, pretty profound thought. Our bodies tell the incredible story of our ancestors' survival through ice ages, famines, you name it. They are a living record of success against impossible odds. So, what story will we leave behind in the great genetic book of life?